Do you want to be successful? Welcome back to the Hype Mind. We're talking about success today, and I am Bear, and I'm with Daniel again because there's nobody better to do this with. So, success, because you're driven and you want to be successful and you're inspired and you're motivated. So let's talk about that. What does it mean to be successful? How do you be successful? How do you become successful? Where does it start? What does it look like?
Yeah,
I like
it looks like.
I like to think that success starts with you internally. It starts in the head. It starts with the thought process.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Developing
the proper mindset. Yeah, go ahead. You're dying. I can tell.
I hear people say all the time is success is whatever it means to you. And I agree with that in some ways, and in some ways I don't. I think it's just an excuse for laziness. But success,
well, in that sense, there is
truth in the English language, and we hear it referred to different things. You will hear it referred to people as successful, right? Who make a lot of money, who have wealth, social status. But people say again, success is whatever you want it to be. I think you can define it yourself, but in our language, it has been, it like nobody's going to say a Buddhist monk who has peace and tranquility is successful unless they turn it into a business. But yeah.
Well, and that brings up a good point.
Can be you can really laziness, but can also be helpful.
That brings up a good point because you can really get into the weeds with this. Like success to some degree is subjective, right? And what does success mean depends on what was the phrase you said. Success is what you want it to mean to you, right? Like, sure, if you want to.
Here goes my. Yeah.
Oh well. If you want it to mean to you, sure, right? Because if you want success to mean that if you have enough money to afford your own place and lay in bed all day and watch TV and you can pay rent and pay for Netflix, and that's what success means to you, sure, in that sense, that's what it is. But the truth is,
you could twist and define anything any way you want.
Hold on. In the grand scheme of things, you're not successful because you're not competing with the top performers in the world, right? You're not competing with people who are striving to be better versions of themselves, right? And that's what I think really success comes down to is the constant battle to end the constant attainment of improvement in yourself, right? Continually striving for virtuousness, for status, for wealth on some level, right? So not even necessarily wealth, but more so financial security or finances to the point where you can use them for the good of others. Stuff like that, right? That is a level of attainment that you're able to transfer in the grand scheme of the competition against everybody, right? Because that's what's happening, right? The world is just a big race and you're running it. That's that's where I would say that like kind of like what you started with that phrase, whatever it is, that I don't even know what you call it, that quote, right? It's misused, right? One, it's irrelevant, and two, unless you properly use it, then it's misused, right? Because if you believe success is sitting on your couch affording rent and Netflix, and you're aiming too low. You're aiming too low. Success is the living of life on your edge, like we talked about, and the attainment of the greater good day by day.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that means, right? Which in that regard is a little bit subjective.
No, right. It is. I don't think it is always whatever it means. I mean, it also is kind of goes along with the law of supply and demand. It's like, well, a few people have this much worth. So, if everybody was successful, nobody would be successful.
Sure.
So,
Well, and that's why it's somewhat subjective,
yeah,
because someone has to be the monk on the mountaintop where maybe they don't have status or they don't have wealth, but they have respect and they have great knowledge and they have a great understanding of consciousness and how things work, right? Maybe interpersonal relationships, maybe divine relationships, right? Spirituality, whatever. And so in that sense,
right. Well,
success becomes this beautiful universal thing where when everybody subjectively attains success, they connect and attain success for the entire world, basically.
right. What? And I don't want you to get confused by the monk analogy too, because if you think about what success is and what people define it as success, it is a result, right? People consider wealth as success. People consider social status as success, but those are results of something else. Those are results of skills you have that are valuable, that people pay a high price for. And
great. Well, that brings up
that is in that way, that was like, even being a monk on a mountain, right, having some type of peace in just awareness of self can actually be turned into a tool that can help you be more successful materialistically. It can get you some of those things. It can make you a better decision maker. It can make you handle turmoil much more efficiently, right, than the average Joe. So those are skills. So I think skills is what makes you, the successful, and is the effect of that is material things, which is wealth and social status.
Well, and I think that's why the question I would ask is, what does it mean to be successful to you then? Because I might not be getting my point across very well, to be honest. But answer that question and let me share something.
Okay. Yeah. So I think I know we live in a material world, and it's important. It's like we can't disregard that. Like, we still have to feed ourselves, survive, and we do want to be
fit into culture.
We do want to be abundant. We don't want to be just surviving. And so to reach a lot higher level,
and you shouldn't,
is what most people want. And what I personally think success is what, achieving things that are valuable, that are perceived
important,
as valuable,
necessary,
not necessarily wealth. I mean, like I said, it's like, okay, it's defined in our culture as wealth and social status,
right.
but there's also things that are worth more than wealth. For example, go up to a family, and a loving couple who is raising a child, and say, here, give me your baby and I will give you all the money in the world. And guess what they would say? They would say no. Right. They would even die for that baby. So essentially, isn't that baby worth more than money or social status or what success is considered? Like, look at friendships too. Would people break up their true friendships for a certain amount of money or their health? So those things are valuable. I think that is part of success.
Well, you're bringing up the exact point that I want to better elaborate on, right? What success, in my eyes, success is the attainment of your purpose, right? So if your purpose is to have a loving union with someone and have children, or to have, I mean, everybody should want good relationships. Is there lag? I think there's lag. Maybe
That's not bad.
Okay, everybody should want good relationships, right? But maybe your purpose is to create more connections and help people connect and whatnot, right? I think, from my point of view, success is the attainment or the progression towards your purpose, right? And of course, that might not be status. That might not be wealth. It might be both of those things, but it might not be either of those things. It might be the family. It might be the monk on the mountain who, the monk on the mountain might have this great understanding of himself, but more importantly, because what you have, you can give to others, right? He has this ability to teach others how to have a great understanding of themselves. So while stuff like that might not look that important because, oh, well, it's, all it is benefiting him. Not true. If you can do it for yourself, you can do it for another. you can give to others what you have plenty of, or what you have little of, and if his purpose, for example, with the monk, is to understand true consciousness and the self, right, so that he can share that understanding with others, because that's his purpose in life, that he has obtained success and is continuing to demonstrate success is another word I wanted to use, not that one, but whatever. Emulate success. And the same thing with the family, right? It doesn't have to be wealth, it doesn't have to be status. A lot of times that's what it is, though, because wealth and status enable you, they're tools, in my opinion, in many cases, not all, but most cases, to better attain your purpose, right? Depending on what your purpose is, of course. Uh-oh. There we go again. No more beautiful face of mine.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, I don't think we should redefine what success means in our language, but you can use it. You could use it. I think you can
what do you
use
mean?
these words to kind of help you focus and center in on what you want to achieve. Like Barry said, is finding your mission and your purpose. And I think it's also important is people don't do enough of is examine what's valuable to you. What do you value? What's important? So you can go after that and really think.
Elaborate
Really
what you mean.
And use these tools like wealth as measurements. It's like, okay, how much would I pay for this? How much is this worth it to me?
Well, elaborate on what you mean. Don't redefine the definition of success.
Right. I'm saying success. People aren't going to refer to success as the Buddhist monk sitting on the top of a mountain.
Well, I'm not saying that's success.
Right, but that's what we refer to it in the English language, as we don't refer to it as that. And I'm saying you can redefine it to yourself to use it as a tool. It doesn't have to be, what does success actually mean? You can still use the language to create a mindset that's going to point you in a direction, motivate you to achieve something.
Yeah, I'm not tracking. But I will say that, yes, looking at what you hold valuable is important, but it's also dangerous, because attaining something you hold valuable doesn't mean success, because a lot of times our values aren't good values. A lot of times we don't realize what we value is inappropriate. So before you even take the step of reaching to obtain your values, to what you hold valuable, you have to look at your values and make sure they're solid values, that they're beneficial to you and to the world, and to obtaining your greater mission in life. So
Right.
once you've done that,
oh yeah, for sure. You have to think. You have to
first vet values. Yeah. And then once you've done that, I would agree with what you're stating, but don't miss that step. Don't just assume that means whatever you hold valuable is already good.
Right, because people subconsciously take, other people's values and just,
or they just have bad values in general.
Achieve them. Yeah.
They've just put bad values in their value system. What do you hold valuable? Well, being comfortable and full. It's like, so what do you do? Well, I just eat all I want, because being comfortable and full is important to me. That's not success. Your values you have to make sure they're good values.
Right. Well, I think they're good is that they're actually productive and useful. Like you want to be,
you benefits the world.
Exactly. You want to benefit other people, in a way of
genuinely benefit
that way.
No,
and also
no BS.
People want you. People need you. It's like you want to be of some type of service. You want to be of some type of importance. You want to add. You don't want to subtract from the good.
Right. Well, and that's the other thing is what does it mean to benefit me, right? that's tough because people are like, well, um, it benefits me to feel good, right? But that's short term, right? That's not elevating yourself to a better person if you become obese because eating benefits you, right?
Hmm.
Benefit you is staying in shape for the good health of your body, the good care of your body, for example. So, um, you know, I especially with the message that America pushes on people of do what's good for you, right? Well, if you're gonna do what's good for you, make sure it's actually good for you. But anyway, I don't want to get too far off topic. Um, yeah. So how do you obtain success? Where would you go with that?
How do you obtain success?
Oh, I'm back. Thank goodness. I mean, I think you first need to know where you're at and know what success means to you. What are you aiming towards when you say success?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
And
for sure. I mean, yeah,
generally,
yeah.
generally,
That's the important part. It's funny because my dad, he would say, people don't think, and it's so true. It's like you got to think about these things. You got to reflect.
right.
It's
Yep.
it's super important to get your mindset straight because your mind can be a million different places. You can be thinking about so many different things. Like there's unlimited things to think about. Your imagination is like limitless, essentially. So you have to be focused. That's first of all, and that is how to achieve value as well, or to achieve
Right.
success is you have to be focused and then work on that and continue to work on that and basically use what helps you get there and eliminate the things that take you away from that.
Right. Well, exactly. You got to take the time to process the important parts of the trip. There's the starting point, there's the journey, there's the destination,
Right.
and
And then
that's
simply do.
summarize everything in life. And
Right. And then I think the next step is just to do it, is to take action. That's the beautiful thing about the world we live in. A lot of people relate it to the spiritual world, but it's also connected to the physical world. You actually do things, you take action, you walk in that right direction. First, you set the compass of where you want to go, and you take the first step. And okay, you get a little bit off, and so you reassess. Okay, point the compass in this direction, right? I was off by a couple degrees, but now I'm back on the trail, and you keep going and you take the next step. It could be it doesn't have to be confusing. It just one step, one foot in front of the other.
what do you mean they do it from a spiritual perspective?
Um, well, I think people think a lot of that, is the solution. I've, especially people attaining things.
A lot of what?
It's like, I mean, I've personally heard it pray about things, right? Just pray, just pray, just pray. Like you gotta take action as well. Like I want my relationship to be better. I'm gonna just pray and hope for it. Like take action in the right direction.
Well, that does bring up a good point because there's a couple things to note there. The idea of taking it to the spiritual realm, I think, touches an important factor, right? Not all the important factors, like you're saying, Daniel. It touches at least one, which is you have to have faith that you can accomplish this, right? Because that's kind of what prayer is in my eyes, right? Prayer is having faith. It's having
Oh, I
hope,
agree. Yes.
right?
Hmm.
But like Daniel's saying, you have to take action. You have to, contemplate and think. There's don't neglect prayer for sure, right? Don't neglect the hope and faith portion of it, but you also have to take action, process, see where you're at,
Yep.
reality check. Where am I? Where do I want to be? What does it mean to me subjectively, but also what does it do for the whole world? How do I contribute? How does my success contribute to the world? Um, and so, and then of course you make the journey, you take that action like Daniel's talking about, right? But you of course can't do that without the faith and hope. But you also shouldn't only do that with the faith and hope, right? I think of that a lot of those parables in the Bible where people where Jesus was always like, "Oh, your faith has saved you," right? but it wasn't just faith. It was the faith and then the action of actually approaching Jesus for healing, right?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't just have faith and stay behind the closed door. They had faith and found him, right? So you have to have faith, and then you have to take action and reach for what you believe success is. After taking honest, and taking an honest look at who you are and reflecting.
Right. I don't think action or faith is as, I guess, important as action, because faith fuels action. Because, still we live in this physical world. So if you don't do anything, nothing's going to happen. You can believe it all you want, but there has to be the action there. So faith is more of a fueler, but the action needs to get done.
Right. Okay, so let's see where we're at. Yeah, what is success? Does it mean to be successful? Right. Again, a lot of times our image of what it means to be successful is an image that was subconsciously forced upon us. And in some sense, that's good, because a lot of times we don't have an image, so we need someone else to show us the way, right? But a lot of times the only way they show us, because they don't know any better themselves, is success means wealth, success means status, success means women, right? Or in some cases, success only means a family, success only means this, or only means that, right? So we have to make sure that once we see what success could mean, we discover what success means for ourselves, and make sure that our success for ourselves is a way that benefits the world, right? And then we need to have that faith, right? Create that image, see where we want to go, see where we're at, take that step, take that action. And I think there's also another very key part in general to life, but that's also very related to success. But like I said, in life, everything you do, this is a key step, is understanding, once you've contemplated and figured out all the other stuff we just went over, it's not going to be easy. Just because you did all that stuff and figured out all that stuff, the journey isn't going to be easy. It's going to be a struggle. There's going to be pain and suffering. There's going to be hard work, but there's also going to be great reward. Especially the more you stick it out, the more your reward is. So that's something I think a lot of people
I think that's
think, oh my God,
beautiful how it works that way.
did everything. No. Now you
It
need
means more. When it's harder, it means a lot more.
now. Well, yeah, it does
When you're
mean
hungry, your food tastes better. When you're thirsty, water tastes like whatever tastes better.
very true. And what I'm getting at is, don't forget that once you take the time to sort out all those other things, and you take that step and you start taking that action, you have to realize part of the success is the difficulty. Part of the success is the challenges that you're going to overcome. And they're going to be there. And there's almost no way around it, because when you experience success without challenge, you take it for granted and you don't actually learn anything. I think of a lot of people who are very wealthy because the wealth was passed on to them, right? We're using the wealth as an example of success again. They squander it. They don't appreciate it. They're not happy. Why? Because they didn't earn it. They didn't overcome anything. They didn't challenge themselves. They didn't push themselves. They didn't experience any pain. They didn't grow. They didn't learn anything. And so you're missing all these key elements, fundamentals to the whole journey of success and attainment of purpose. And it almost destroys your success and the reality of it.
Right. So that's a very encouraging point, to just point out that it's good that it's hard. It's good that it's difficult. If it wasn't, well, it wouldn't be as rewarding. And again, it's like, that's why, or that's a good mindset to have to really fuel the process, is enjoy the journey. Know it is
Right.
actually helping in increasing the enthusiasm and excitement that you'll have for the actual achievement.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, look, I'm back. Uh, yeah.
Wow.
You might have more questions, more thoughts, more comments. We definitely want to hear those. Share them. And interestingly enough, we have enough. All of our topics are obviously interesting, right? And if there's one you want to discuss, we would love to entertain it. But as far as success goes and what we've got, that's all. Unless you had anything you wanted to add, Daniel.
No, that's it.
That's it. That's it. So what I know is from all of us here at the High Mind, thanks for joining us. And don't hit like and subscribe because God forbid you did that. Don't do it. Simon says don't hit like. Peace.
Peace.